Hey, want to get a head start in some new projects that, two of them don't cost anything really to get into. You want to try them out? We got some projects for you. So stay tuned for more. Welcome back to another video. I'm the Grumpy Dad. If this is your first time here, welcome. I'm sorry you took a wrong turn and lost your way, but welcome aboard anyway. For my usual people who are here, welcome back. And for the people who have been here for a while, y'all gonna be familiar with these projects that I'm going to discuss this evening. But for those of y'all who aren't in my Discord, y'all may not have heard of some of these newer projects that we're looking at right now. So before we go any further, the usual spiel, please hit the like button, hit the thumbs up, take 1 second, just look down, hit that thumbs up button because it helps out these videos, the effort I put into them, even though sometimes it appears like I'm not putting effort into them. I promise you I am. As an older guy, we don't do all that fancy AI stuff and crazy production stuff. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. I have 36,000 subscribers and I'd always love one more. And I really appreciate it. Again, always, nothing in this is financial advice. We don't know what's going to happen to any of these projects. Some of these projects can go like some of the other ones we were in that seem to be a slow bleed down to zero. And some seem to be holding their own, even in this crypto crunch that we've been in for the last couple of weeks, it seems. So we're just going to discuss, again, take a little bit of time to discuss some new projects we're in, what we kind of know about them so far. One of them is very, very new. There's hardly anything in it, but hey, if it works for Wingbits, it might work for them. So we're going to see about that. So stay tuned for more. So as I was alluding to, there is a Grumpy Dad Discord for those of y'all who are not familiar with it. And it seems to be continue to be getting traction. We're up to 231 members. I really appreciate it. And it's something, I do some announcements here and there, post my YouTube videos and things like that. But the big thing is we have a pretty good general chat that goes on that everybody talks about, different things stuff like that. But we do also cover almost all the projects that we're currently in. And as you can see here, so that you can come here and just go to one place if you want to get announcements, because I have it forwarded that all these projects, those announcements will come here. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. There are some projects in here that I am not in, but people have asked for. Some projects that have kind of slowed down, but I also have places for third-party software. If you're looking for a host or you want to host somebody's device, different things that are not crypto related, and trying to sell stuff, archive, which is all the stuff like that. But if you are interested in getting in the Discord, please look underneath in the description below. One of the first links will be a link to get into that Discord. So first thing I'm gonna say is none of us know the future of any project. There are projects that seem to do, maybe have potential, that have devices that even sell with it and don't seem to be looking like they're going to make it. We just had a announcement about SwordChain. SwordChain, we all bought those minis that hook up to your vehicle and all that. That was about 23 months ago. And now you find out that SwordChain is no longer supporting them. They're going end of life. You can go ahead and have a funeral for them. SwordChain's trying to stay alive with just their dash camera. We don't know how that's going to work out, but it just goes to show you can't predict what's going to happen with all these projects. Now, another thing you have to look out for is very scammy looking projects. And I'd like to sit here and say, all of us have been around for a while, long enough now that we can be able to point these out, but there's not. There's still people every day falling for scammy projects. And I think part of it is the chase that people are trying to get into projects early, because it's a fact that majority of these projects that are very successful, if you get in early, usually that's when the best rewards are, when you get that airdrop or TGE to, testnet to TGE, swap. That's when you get majority of your tokens, and that seems to be when the value is the highest. Some projects, the value price of that token goes down after TG. Some of it goes up, and we were discussing that earlier in my Discord with some people and showing some different projects where some went up a lot, and some didn't go up. But when you start looking at projects that are very basic, this is one somebody sent me, and we looked into it, and basically it's very AI written project. And I wouldn't trust this with a 10-foot pole. There's no way. But when you start looking at, start digging a little deeper, and you start looking into the people who are involved. They can't even post a picture. You look up these names don't exist, or if some of these names do exist, they are several people with the same name. When you click on those names on, say, LinkedIn or some of these other places, nobody is associated with an ADSB coin. We saw this a lot with the DeFi project, where they were always kind of making names up of different people, and you couldn't find anything saying that they existed. And then when you go to their mining section, this looks very wonky. They have feeder spots that they're giving away, but then you look at this miner. What is this supposed to do? You can't put this outside. And if you know anything about ADSB, between Wingbits and some of these other projects, or these other even non-crypto projects that deal with ADSB, this isn't going to do anything. This is, or you can't get a miner, so they're going to rent a miner for you. It's just do your homework with some of these new projects. That's all I'm going to tell you. Be very careful when you see these new projects coming out. Now, one new project that I did a video on about a week or two ago, and that is 4D Sky. This is not really supposedly a direct competitor with Wingbits, but there's some people who wanted to be interested in Wingbits, but when they looked at the Explorer map, they realized that their hexes were all surrounded, so they knew they would get very minimal rewards with Wingbits. Well, with 4D Sky, at the time of my video last week, there was only like 100 and something stations worldwide, where with 4D Sky, and 4D Sky is doing more, supposedly trying to do more drone detection, more low level type stuff, lower altitude stuff. Also trying to do a UAT, MODAS, FLARM, and MLAT, different things like that, which currently Wingbits is trying to do more of the high altitude stuff. And Wingbits is also doing some of the, what kind of delays they have on tarmacs, and how long they're at the gate. Are they running late at the gate, and different things like that. So they're kind of hitting two different, while they both use ADSB, they're kind of two different animals. Now, currently, the only place to buy a 4D Sky, Helium Deployed now is the exclusive provider of the 4D Sky equipment. Last week, they had their first drop, which was on Wednesday, and they sold 200 devices in a few hours and sold out. Now they will have tomorrow, which will be Wednesday, December 4th at noon, my time, which is Central Time in the United States. They will be doing another drop of 4D Sky devices, if you're interested in it. Now, full disclosure, I was sent a 4D Sky to demo. As you can see, it is still here in my hand. I was out of town from Thursday through Sunday last week for Thanksgiving holidays, and this week in Louisiana, it's been raining every day, and it's supposed to rain every day through Monday and Tuesday. Sooner or later, the rain's got to stop. When the rain stops, I will be deploying this. I will be doing a video also showing how to deploy it, the settings, and everything else I need to do. I have the two antennas. I have the worldwide antenna for 4D Sky, and I also have the 978 UAT antenna for the United States. So I have both those antennas, and I will be hooking those up, and we'll see what happens with 4D Sky. They're not going to TGE anytime soon. They're going to be Q2, Q3, somewhere around there. We know that most projects don't hit their first TGEs. I just want to make, I'm not trying to be negative. I'm not trying to create FUD. I just want to be honest with y'all that it's an honest statement. They could hit their TGE. Just want everybody to understand, you're going to spend this kind of money. It might be a little bit longer, before you see a TGE. Batch 2 will deliver January 1 of 2026, and the next batch after that will be February 1 of 2026. Also, you do get free 3 months of Moken Depin Tracker Pro. I've showed y'all that, where you can track all your different projects and what you're doing. And the way that the code is set up from Helium Deploy, because this is a new object, they are no longer doing a 10% off or $50 off if you use the code. If you use my code, which I hope you would still do just to help out the channel, you do get an extra 3 months. So this now goes to 6 months of Moken Depin Tracker Pro. Hey, that was not on me. That's on them. I'm not saying I agree with it. That's just what Helium Deplete does. I know people that use this. They like it. I know some of y'all would probably rather the $50 off. I know I would, but that's just a new thing that they're trying for this and for their was it the Hammer Axe or whatever it is, Hammer Miner, Solo Bitcoin Miner. They're doing the same thing. I guess they're really just trying to push their Depin tracker, which again is a good project, good product. I'm not knocking it at all. I just think some people would rather discount, but that's just me. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But that is for now the 4D Sky, and hopefully this will be set up. It's supposed to literally rain. Today's Wednesday as I'm filming this. It's supposed to rain all the way through Monday. So we'll see. We'll see how when I can get this installed. I'm kind of chomping at the bit to get it installed and see what it looks like. Now, our next new project we're talking about that I found and somebody shared it. I looked into it. It seemed very legit. It's called CapturGO. Basically, if you're running 375 AI, this does the same thing, a 375 Go. This will run, right now, this is only for iPhones. There is a Android app coming soon, but it is the same thing as 375 AI in the aspect of how it works. You download this, you create an account. Please, please, please use the link below in my description. Again, that helps out the channel. That's going to help you out also, because I think it gives you a little bit of bonus to start off with, and I would really appreciate it. But I'm running CapturGO on my phone right now. And same thing, I run that and 375 AI. And when I'm running all my errands and I'm running, going back and forth to work, it's just sitting there and capturing hexes the same way that 375 AI worked. You can see where I got 3,900 tokens already. And I was showing y'all exactly where I live. You can see early when I was on I-10, going to Baton Rouge, you can see the highlighted hexes as I drove through there. And that's it. You're leaving this, you don't even have to leave it open like on the front of the screen. You can have it running in the background just like that. Same thing I'm doing with 375 AI. Eventually this is going to be something where you would report potholes and different objects in the road and that kind of stuff like that. Again, this is a very, very new project. There also is a Discord. I will post the link to the Discord below. But the best part is, just like 375 Go, this is a free project. So we did, depending on how much you drove, it all depends on how much you drove. If you only drive from here and your work is 3 miles away, and that's all you go back and forth every day, it's like 375 AI and these other driving projects, Rover, anything else, you're not going to do as well. But for people that drive 25 miles to work, 25 miles back, and then lunch in between and going to a meeting somewhere else, this might do pretty good for you. Me, this is hunting season. I went hunting in Missouri. Went hunting in North Louisiana last week. Been going back and forth to my hunting lease in Mississippi. I run all these projects. If y'all seen some of my videos in the past, there are phones across my dashboard where I have been running these projects. And you can see some of my results on Mondays. I record a video on Mondays. Usually it takes me 2 or 3 hours to edit it. So it comes on Tuesday mornings, at least Tuesday morning my time, which I call, crypto update weekly or something like that. And every single Monday or Tuesday, I post this video that shows you I'm in like 20 different Depin projects right now. And it shows you my progress and what I'm doing with all 20 of those projects. The video is over an hour long, but hey, I'm in 20 projects. I try to give updates on every one of those projects. I put chapters in it so y'all, can skip around if you want. I also do a live on Tuesdays and Thursdays for those of y'all who are new around here. But every Tuesday and Thursday evening, I try to do a live. Sometimes on Tuesdays, I got some other stuff going on with work and the kids, but usually every Thursday, unless it's Thanksgiving or Christmas, I'll usually do a live on Thursday. We'll be doing a live. If I get this video out tonight on Wednesday, it'll be tomorrow, which is Thursday, or tonight, depending on when you're watching this video, at 7 p.m. Central Time. So if you go to my YouTube and look up live, you'll see that that's already set up and ready to go. So like I said, CapturGO does have a Discord. It is very active. They have 591 members already. So they've already passed me up. They also have an X, but as you can see with the announcements, they are already doing updates to the app, and they're pretty active in their Discord. I had some issues and I reported it. I'm telling you, somebody responded just in a couple of minutes, had me go and post it in another channel, and somebody responded there, somebody from the team. So right now they are very active in the Discord and listening to the gripes and concerns or the attaboys that are in this Discord. So I like to see that. I like to see a very active group. Again, the positive on this project is it's free. And we've done well with some free projects. There's nothing to lose. You're already driving that area. So what do you have to lose by running this? Again, I'm not telling you to do it. It's not financial advice. We don't know what it could pay. It could pay nothing. But, we don't know. We don't know what kind of market there's going to be for this kind of data on what you can mark as far as road conditions and different things like that. So, we'll see. As you can see, like when I hit, there's a little exclamation point as I'm driving and capturing a hex, I can hit the exclamation point and it's asking me, what's the road condition? Is it a pothole? Is it a crack? Or is it a flood? And again, to join this project, I will have a link below. And from what it says that when you join, you get 25 tokens just for joining, and then 75 more tokens from using that code just after you visited 5 hexagons, which is just a short ride down the street. So go ahead, check it out, see what they got to offer, and we'll see what happens with this project. Now, number 3 project. This is I said the last one's very new. This one's a very new project. Like, I'm talking days old. Now, it was named something else, and somebody sent me a link to this. I have a guy in my Discord his name is Who Foughted, and this dude finds all kinds of new projects. He sent me this project a couple of months back when it was called by a different name. There was already some alpha started. It wasn't into beta yet, and you had to sign up for a wait list. Well, I'm signed up for the wait list, never heard anything. I ran a different version, non-crypto related, kind of like similar to Wingbits. The Wingbits is doing ADSB, but on the crypto Depin side. But previous to them, there was other projects doing the same thing, more on the hobby side. Well, I did marine vessel tracking because I live literally, I can walk, almost jog to the Mississippi River. That's how close I am to it. I'm literally about a half mile. I can see the Mississippi River. I can see the boats going down the Mississippi River. That's how close I am. And with the right kind of height, I can see ships in the Gulf of Mexico. So, and that was more of like for the hobby thing, APRS, if y'all familiar with that on the ham side. But this project, um, again, had an alpha. I didn't sign up for it. I don't have my station set up anymore, unfortunately. I end up using those parts for other stuff. But they recently have came up with a new name, and it's called Mast Chain. One word. Their website is mastchain.io. And you can find, most of the information that you need. If you want to join the network, go to their X, go to their Discord, and, do some other things and basically they're telling you, you're deploying an AIS receiver. Basically, I'm telling you, if y'all are familiar with the DIY devices that we use for Wingbits, where you took a Pi and you took a SDR, that's the radio that plugs into the Pi, and an antenna. You had to have a good line of sight. You had to put it for 1090 megahertz. And that's what did the airplanes. Well, this right here is using marine VHF. That's a whole different animal when it comes to antennas and radios. So majority of the people for this and what I was using are the black SDRs. Now I had a handful of these from ham projects and from a previous scam project that we don't discuss anymore called DFly. And I had a handful of these and I was giving them away on my YouTube channel as prizes and different things like that, because even though we use the green or the blue amplified version of these for DFly, these still made a really good SDR, which is a software defined radio for receiving. If you paired this, and I have this now in a couple of my stations, if you paired this with one of the LNAs that you could buy, these were very well, and these worked better than a blue or green SDR on Wingbits. So you would pair this up with something like this to give you, a boost. This is the LNA, your amplifier. And of course you have to put on some type of filter also to filter whatever frequency you didn't want. So that's why we didn't really talk about these that much, because you're looking at triple the price by the time you're done piecing it together, where you could, for Wingbits, you could just buy a green or blue one and kind of do it all together. However, with this project's working off VHF. So you can use some of these. I don't know what the feedback is on these. I don't want to lie to y'all. I have not seen too many people setups yet on this, but you can put some type of amplification on here if you need to for this VHF range. So you can see that this is the top rated, number one top rated right now. On this, you can see how I bought 7 of them. And it's basically the same thing. It's used. The thing about this is wideband. So it goes from, I'm sure somewhere it says it, this goes down to 500 kilohertz. So basically you can pick up AM radio that you have on your radio, on like your car radio or something, all the way to 1.7 gigahertz. So some of the ham communities and some of the hobbyists, they're using this to pick up satellite goes, and like we're picking up weather satellites at some point. And, there's a couple of different variations of this, because you can buy, a version like this with a regular USB that this will plug into your computer. They have this version, which I have never seen before. I've never touched it before, but they have, it's a version that has, instead of the USB on one end, it has the USB-C. Again, I have never played with this, so I'm not going to vouch that it works or does not work. Just what I happen to find just now on the website. This is the antenna we use for the GOES satellite, or something like that. You don't want this because this frequency is completely wrong. And while I'm not saying I recommend it, I know several people who played with these, and they're just using these antennas to make a dipole, which is basically, as you can see in the picture, if I can get it right, is that you have this little piece that's right here in the middle, that can stick antenna out on both sides, and you adjust the lengths of those antennas to get whatever you want. I'm not doing all that. Basically, you have to have for this project some type of VHF marine antenna. The VHF marine band is around 160 164, 168 megahertz or something like that. So you have to have something that will receive that. If you've played around with some of these airband antennas, those are too low. Those in that 130 range, I believe. You can see where I bought some a while back. I bought a yellow VHF airband USB SDR. I'm gonna tell you right now, this will not work. This is filtered for the airband, which again, that's gonna be 118 to 136 megahertz, and we need higher than that for this project. And the antenna I bought for that project is discontinued, but again, it's 118 to 136. So again, I just to show you that you do not want an airband antenna. Now, somebody who's grown up on the water, Lake Pontchartrain, I'm in fishing boats, not constantly right now. I'm in the fishing boats occasionally now, but before I had kids, I was in a fishing boat every weekend or every other weekend when I work shift work. Basically, the standard marine antenna is 8 feet tall. You're not going to get away with on VHF marine with some little whip like this big. A lot of it's about capture area, but without getting too scientific, the wavelength of what this frequency range is a much bigger wavelength, bigger waves, and you have to have an antenna that matches that wavelength. And again, not getting too crazy with the quarter wave, half wave, and all the stuff like that, and losing y'all. Just trust me. And also the DBs and DBIs and stuff like that work differently, but this is line of sight also. I'm gonna tell you something else. This is another project that is line of sight. It's all gonna be about how high you can get the antenna, especially marine band, because this is gonna be a little bit tougher than Wingbits, or if you played around with any of these other flight tracking type projects, airband or anything like that, because it's easier when you can just worry about putting an antenna on the roof and you're trying to get flights that are 40,000 feet up. The problem with marine is these boats are at sea level. So you need more height, where when I was playing with it, the most I was getting was 20 miles, 25 miles radius around the house. If you can get this on a crazy, crazy good height, you can spread out forward. But people who don't live around water within 50 miles of some kind of waterway where they're going to have boats that can be tracked and different things like that, this project's not going to be for you. Another positive thing I wanted to bring up was where in some of these projects like Wingbits, and I'm doing a lot of stuff right now with Meshtastic and Meshcore. Felon is extremely crucial on what size you use and how long. With VHF, it's not as bad. You can use some of the thinner stuff for 5 and 10 feet and not be hit as hard because you don't have as much loss at 160 something megahertz compared to 915 or 1090 megahertz. So I just wanted to kind of, show you a little bit. Again, Mass Chain, as you can see by the Discord, is very new. They're still in the process of moving everything over from, I think it was called Worldwide AIS before. Now it's called Mass Chain. Again, it's very new. They're just starting out, but hey, some of us like these new projects. I'm planning on, I have to go repurpose all my reclaim or find my VHF stuff. And likely it's going to make me, after I gave away all those black SDRs, or I've used those SDRs to replace the green ones that have burnt up with Wingbits. Again, that's not the Wingbits. That's the DIY devices that I built. You can choose which dongle you want to use, which were these. And, this is what I chose to build with because of all the SDRs in this level, the blue ones and the green ones. This one worked the best. The problem with this one is it can't really handle ESD. You can say it has ESD protection, but I burnt up probably 6 of these or that went out. So as these have gone out, I had those black ones I showed you, and I paired these up with a filter and with SDR and the LNA, and I got better results. But then now you have 3 parts that could possibly fail instead of just one, and you're paying way more for it. But I already had these, so I know I'm getting off key here, but I gotta find the parts to put together for a device for mass chain and trying to get one of those up, and I can be early in that project too. I don't know if there's a limit. I haven't found it yet. If there's a limit of how many stations you could have, if they have to be so many miles apart. You know, again, I know some of y'all have followed me here from Wingbits, and I'm gonna tell you, Wingbits has hexes, and they limit it per size because they don't need 3 stations right on top of each other that are getting view of 40,000 feet. But this project right here, you might be able, you're gonna get ships at your house, and then 5 miles down the road, your buddy is gonna be able to get almost completely different ships to the opposite direction of this house that you're not gonna see. So I'm telling you, with line of sight and at sea level ships, this is going to be a different ball game that we're going to have to learn about. And I need to freshen up on it also. So we'll see. We'll keep up. We're going to talk about it some more in our lives, and I'm going to continue doing my homework on it. I'm going to talk to the team over there. Maybe do some type of AMA with them and let them discuss what they're looking at. I'd like to start doing some AMAs and some more videos. I need some more ideas for videos. Depin kind of slowed down a little bit. I need some more content. So we'll see. But other than that, I appreciate everybody. I appreciate all the support. Make sure y'all join my Discord. Make sure y'all support the links below. It really helps me out, and I appreciate it. And I'll see y'all tomorrow night on the live. And after that, y'all have a good weekend. So thank y'all. See y'all later.